Frustrated with skyrocketing housing costs in Indian cities, a Reddit user said something that has sparked a viral discussion online and raised one interesting question. Basically, he says that he is unable to afford flats in any of the Indian cities, especially in metros like Bengaluru, Chennai and Hyderabad, and that he is already aged, so he can't afford EMIs now either. He wanted to know sincerely whether it was legal for him to just hire or buy a small boat and live on it and make a small bedroom and bath and kitchen and continue to then live on that one. He wondered whether he could just park his boat on the lake or the seashore, which many Indian cities have. He said that since the boat shouldn't cost more than 15 to 30 lakhs, he could afford that. This led to a whole conversation. Some suggested that he could just buy a house on the outskirts of the city or in a smaller city or town, which would be more practical. Others suggested buying a caravan and moving around on that instead, since it would be easier and more cost effective. Another said that while houseboats are legal and common in places like Kerala, but their operation is regulated, overnight stays are generally allowed only as part of licensed tourism, and long-term living on a boat is just not practical in terms of address proofs, access to utilities, but also it cannot be done because water bodies are public property and they are regulated by government agencies. While most would agree that actually living on a boat may not exactly be a practical experience, especially in India, it just puts the spotlight once again on just how affordable homes seem to be vanishing in Indian cities. Let's take Bengaluru for example, since that's one of the cities named by him in the post. Mid-segment housing launches, which is between 40 to 80 lakh rupees, these saw a significant drop last year. In contrast, the luxury segment, which are homes priced at above 1.5 crore rupees, they saw a notable growth, widening the affordability gap. In fact, 34% of launches in Bengaluru last year were in this segment. So any budget-conscious buyer would be struggling, especially considering the limited supply in such categories and in general the skyrocketing price of houses nowadays. And behind all this lies a broken system. Developers are prioritizing luxury projects to quote the top 1%. Margins are higher, so affordable housing does get sidelined. Urban land laws and low FSI caps restrict supply, and delays and market manipulations and black money keep the prices high. Adding to this is the fact that there's a growing appetite from wealthy Indians living abroad. As per a Bloomberg report, overseas Indians account for nearly 20% of all luxury home purchases in India in 2025 so far. This tends to make it more unaffordable for those who are living here. So affordable homes are vanishing, and for the middle-income Indians, the math just doesn't work out. Salaries are not keeping pace with property prices, and EMIs of course cannot be taken without long-term job security. So what is one to do? Actually live on a boat? That's not so easy. For one, it's just not practical. Though there are people who have done it and some who do it, especially outside India. For example, Faye Keegan, a freelance writer, wrote for The Guardian on how she lives on a boat because her pay was not enough to rent in the city. They got a mortgage, they got a boat, they did her up, and then they moved aboard full time. But they move every 2 weeks because rules say that one must genuinely navigate waters, and boaters' licenses are revoked for not covering enough distance. There are many such cases, like in the canals of England, but you can't just park it in one place and live there. Water bodies are public property, which means of course that you will not have a permanent address, your kids can't go to one school, you can't go to office, and it's just not practical obviously. So if you have about 30 lakh rupees, like the man in the Reddit post seems to, a practical idea would be to just move to a smaller place or move to a place on the outskirts of the city. But incidents and posts like these basically just highlight the struggles that middle-class India is now facing, even for something which should be as basic as having a home. What do you think about this whole discussion? Do let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to Mint.